Palm Beach County Fire Rescue is pleased to bring back ICOPS at Residential, which stands for Initial Company Operations. ICOPS Residential is a 24-hour class. It's broken into 3 days, and it focuses on the critical tasks. So what we did is we took the top half dozen or so critical skills that are performed on the initial 10 to 15 minutes of an incident, and we broke that into individual skill stations. But anyway, we're going to talk about Kyle Wilson. Day one starts with a powerful PowerPoint with initial case studies from line of duty deaths off the NIOSH reporting system, and it focuses on departments of like sizes as well as the typical geographic area that we have here in Palm Beach County. Then we hit the training ground with skill stations. We're focusing on thermal dynamics, search with thermal imaging, which is a search with tick skill station. We're also focusing on ventilation, which focuses on vertical ventilation, as well as vent enter search techniques, working off a ladder off the second floor of the tower. Day two continues skill stations all day long. We're focusing on forcible entry with our newest forcible entry door prop that was constructed right here at Palm Beach County Fire Rescue, as well as street smart ground ladders. And we're also going to be focusing on hose management, 2.5 inch and 1.75 inch hose lines. Day three is going to be live burn scenarios. We're going to basically, the rubber meets the road. We're going to have it as realistic as possible. They're broken down into individual company assignments. They'll be riding in on the apparatus. Locution and dispatching will all be as realistic as possible. They'll be arriving in the live sequence in a live fire scenario. We're going to go ahead and escort you through the skill stations so you can see what we mean by that element of realism in the individual skill stations. Here are at the hose management skill station. We're focusing on 2.5 inch lines as well as our bread and butter 1.75 inch hose line. Once again, we're going to drop an element of realism into these skill stations by having these folks in full bunker gear. We're going to be moving the hose line in and out of the tower, up and down above grade, not below grade, but up over the railing and up and over those interior and exterior staircases of the tower.
So from here, you can see how I can operate it very simply.
Another element that gets commonly skipped is actually the deployment, or making the stretch, as the officer so calls it, as your first due on a fire. So making the stretch as well as deploying it, and also the repack. Everyone can sit around and talk about it, but these participants are going to get their hands on the hose.
But it slides along the beam to where I want it, just like that.
Street Smart Ground Ladders going to be featuring Rick George. It's a program that he actually developed and travels all around the country, learning the newest tips and tricks on throwing the ladder, whether it be drags, carries, climbs, whether to do a beam raise or the latest technologies on leg locks. They're also going to be getting in a Class 3 harness and doing head-first ladder bails. So this skill station is the stuff that you typically would not be able to do at the company level. We're going to be in full PPE with an air pack and on air. So the type of activities that firefighter is going to be doing at this particular skill station is the stuff that you'll be getting at conference grade classes all over the country.
This one will do a lot more work than this one, and a heck of a lot more work than that one.
Now we're at the forcible entry door prop. Not only are we able to do skill sets that are going to be able to facilitate firefighters getting in and out of whether it be a residential wood door, metal door, but we have lock prop on here, we have a rebar cutting station. So this door is multifaceted, and the best thing about this skill station is that our own Captain Lee Forshner designed and developed and built and constructed this actual door prop. But now we're going to get the firefighters in full bunker gear. We have an area where we've smoked it out with a smoke generator. They're going to be on air, communicating amongst their partners and forcing a variety of different doors: inward, outward, metal, and wood door. One of the common learning themes is recognition prime decision making. It's basically getting the participant to actually do it. We can demo do, we can talk about it, but in the end, we need to actually do the skill. And that's what separates ICOPS from the rest of these type of classes. RPD stands for recognition primed decision making, and basically this type of training, these participants will be able to withdraw from this training if they encounter a realistic incident when it's too bad inside and you need to get out alive.